Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Chambers. I'm here today with Damon Gilbert. He is the fighting coach for Team Paul Mitchell. Thank you for joining the show today, Damon.
Hey, Kyle, thank you for having me, and congratulations on some of your recent success.
Thank you very much, sir. It means a lot. How exciting is it for you to be able to recruit some young fighting talent on Team Paul Mitchell with Sean Magallanes, Katie Herman, and several other great athletes as you kind of develop and transition into a new era of Team Paul Mitchell martial arts?
It's very exciting. The exciting thing for me is just being able to plant water on these seeds, and really trying to see where the seeds go. Um, it's given an opportunity much younger than what I've typically have done in the past to sort of take more of an instrumental role in assisting with the development of the fighters. That's a big motivation for me, and I like new challenges. And I just feel like for me, this is where my energy is at, this is where my spirit is at, this is where my heart is at. And it's just really giving people that I think would respect and enjoy, and most importantly, appreciate the sponsorship opportunities that we're able to give them on Paul Mitchell and see them flourish and do their best. So just giving the youngsters a platform to hopefully make some of their dreams come true. It's very fulfilling. It's very exciting because we wouldn't be here if John Paul DiGiorio didn't do that for us. So we're just echoing the energy from our sponsor.
It's amazing you're able to carry on the tradition that Team Paul Mitchell has created over the past several decades. So you were a great point fighter back in the 2000s, and you competed against some of the best in the world, including Ross Levine and Richard Plowden and others. So how did you transition from being a point fighter into coaching Team Paul Mitchell?
I started fighting as an underbelt in the 80s. My first tournament was 1980. And then my first black belt tournament was 91. So I'm actually like a product of the 90s point fighting scene when I've won the majority of my world titles in the 90s as a young guy with a bunch of hair and no gray hairs. But, you know, the transition, I think, was easy for me because much like other great coaches that are on the circuit, is I've been addicted to martial arts. I've loved martial arts. It's a lifestyle. So when you can't do it no more and your time is up, you know, if I can't do it at the level I was used to doing it at, which is being on stage every time, pretty much my whole career, then I knew it was time for me. And if, when your body starts to tell you it's time, but you still have that fire, you still have that hunger, you still have that will to compete. And then for me, I just didn't want to go to the grave holding on to all the good teachings and knowledge and methodologies I was taught by several people. So, what better way than to share it? I think just organically, I never sought out to be the coach of the team. I just sought out to give the team my all. And then those in leadership positions, Coach John Rodriguez, one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the GOAT, he saw something in me, him and Steve Babcock. And as soon as my career was pretty much over, they start tugging on me and helping me just move into a coaching realm. And man, it's been awesome ever since. I still feel like I'm competing. I love seeing our guys and gals do their thing. And then most importantly, I just love seeing them represent the brand, represent the team, but then also have opportunities to make their dreams come true because that's all it was about for me. I just wanted to go out there and see how good I can be. And without financial backing, this sport is very, very tough. So I'm glad to be in a position where we have a wonderful sponsor that allows our fighters to do that.
That's awesome. What's the most memorable moment of your career, either as a player or a coach?
For me, probably, man, I'm gonna take you back, Kyle, a little bit. I don't even know if you were born. 1994.
I was born in 2000.
Oh yeah. So 1994, the NBL was one heck of a circuit, the National Black Belt League, and they used to have something that you know I wish they do nowadays, which was the Super Grands. It was the World Championships, and imagine this, Kyle: all the world champions who win at this one event, invitation only, or you can come in as a no seed, but no seeds very rarely ever won. And then it's a week long, and then the last day, the 8 weight class world champions come together, and then we figure out who's really the best fighter on the planet. Period. And in 1994, I had pulled that off, and I always strive to just make my dad proud, and that's one of those moments where I shared with my dad. At the end of the fight, my dad told me something I'll never forget, and he was just like, "Hey, you don't have to fight ever again." And I knew that that was just a step of approval from my dad. That all the sacrifice, all the hard work, all the 2 and 3 a days that he spent with me, it now paid off. And he felt like I did our family correct. He felt like I did Kaji Kempo good, and he felt like I represented my school best in the West martial arts the way that he taught me. So for me, that was, and that's what catapulted me to go and try to get another 13 world titles after that. But I would say for me, 1994, and it's the only time I've ever seen my dad almost cry. He did. He's a tough, what, but almost caught my dad crying on that one.
That's awesome. It's great you're able to go on this journey and have your family around with you as you do it. You've mentioned on another podcast that you own a martial arts school. So maybe tell us about that, how you got into that and what that's all about as well.
Yeah, no, I'm a martial art business owner. I've been one since 1996, actually. I own and operate Best in the West Martial Arts Academy. We're a school that's based out of our Kaji Kempo roots. Kaji Kempo, for those that aren't familiar with it, is karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, Kempo, and Chinese and Western boxing. And man, the great thing about our school and what we offer our students is, it's one of the first mixed martial arts in North America, dating back to about, depending on who you talk to, about 1947. So, before the UFC, before Bellator, and all these other great organizations that see um, um, opportunities and see that there's some really cool things that happen when you get a healthy mix of different art forms, because every art form has effective tactics and principles. Kaji Kempo was founded on some of those principles. So no, it's the joy of my life. It's my retirement plan when I'm done with my law enforcement career. I just want to run my school full time and do some other stuff outside there, some traveling, and I'll be a little picky with the seminars. But yeah, no, it's been a blessing in disguise. It's a family-owned business. My dad first started the karate school in our backyard in 1987, and it's just flourished from there. We've had thousands and thousands of students. We've had 8 world champions come out of our school. And though I don't make my students compete as much nowadays, because I have my own little issues with the way the sport is sort of ran. I think the fees are too expensive. I think the trophies look the same. Um, the divisions are smaller. I'm not as big of a fan on some of the circuits out here as I used to be. But I think I'm going to get over it because my students want to compete more because they're tired of looking at my old trophies. But yeah, no, martial arts business owner and doing this for a living and a lifestyle has been one of the greatest joys of my life.
It's great you're able to have all the things you learned from your dad and from the traditional side of it, and then pass the traditional side along, but also pass the competitive fire along to people as well. Even if people aren't competing for a high-end karate team and traveling, to even go and compete and have some fun and have those memories is awesome as well.
Oh no, big time, big time. It's all about the memories, and I tell my students as well as the team, the trophies are going to get old, they're going to get dusty, they're even going to fall apart. But the memories and the relationships that you make throughout these competitive experiences, man, that's a lifestyle. My trophies are old, they're dusty. Some of the logos that fell off of them, but like my memories of traveling and being a roommate of Kevin Thompson, like I can't buy that. Like those will never go away. Those are awesome moments. Meeting Carlos Tierney for the first time. Those are awesome moments. Fighting with Chris Bride, Jose Pacheco. These are awesome moments for me that, I just hold on to.
That's great. Do you think your law enforcement has helped you in your martial arts and vice versa with the two different realms of profession?
For sure. I think martial arts is a pipeline to having success in so many different avenues in life. Um, the beautiful thing with me with the law enforcement side is the martial arts has sort of helped my temperament from competing for years and years and years before I even got into law enforcement, from having that self-control, from also having self-confidence, and then just understanding leverage and technique and tactics, and understanding that as soon as you lose your cool as a professional fighter, that's when you usually get hurt. And transferring that over to law enforcement, as soon as you lose your cool, then that's when you're going to be in federal prison. That's when you're going to get sued. That's when you're going to get terminated. That's when you're going to lose your job. So there were so many avenues from martial arts that I've taken into law enforcement that, have helped me the last 26 years be able to sustain a really healthy career, where I've been able to garnish and have community trust, have love for the people in the city that I work for, never been sued, never been fired, none of those things, and, have made thousands and thousands of arrests. So I definitely attribute martial arts to that, even so much to where, after just 1 year being on the street and being a police officer, I was asked to come as an assistant with teaching the defensive tactics. So I have literally the last 24 years or so of my career have taught self-defense principles to our entire police department the last 20 some odd years. So that's something I'm very proud of because I do see the officers using smart techniques and smart tactics, exhibiting self-control, and doing things that are right, that are just, that are procedurally just, and just, treating the public the way we want to be treated and being a servant. So it's the martial arts, man, it's all over the agency that I work at. And if they've been training with me, they all got like a yellow or an orange belt. They just don't know it, but they've been learning martial arts for sure throughout that program the entire time I've been teaching there.
It's great you're able to make the transition from law enforcement to the martial arts, and you're able to teach fellow officers about this. Thank you for your service. I respect the firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and know people personally in that field. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh no, thank you, thank you a lot. It's something I used to hear a lot more when I first started. We don't hear it as much now, so I truly appreciate it. It's a labor of love. I love doing it.
That's amazing. So how awesome has it been to be able to train Alex Mencias as well? I've seen a lot of videos of him, some training some of the more veteran athletes compared to your junior athletes. Has training him, is it a bit of a different process than training your junior athletes because he is at such a high level?
Yeah, that's a great question. The junior athletes, I lean very heavily on their instructors, Trevor Nash, Vito Rodriguez. Their instructors do the heavy lift. They're the ones who got them to the dance to where I'm even interested in doing my part as a coach. The instructors do the heavy lift. The instructors are the ones that gave you your black belt. They're the ones that solidified you as a martial artist. I just get to put little sprinkles on top of the cake that the instructors have already created without any of my help. The juniors for me I feel like more of it's a heavy dose of mentorship and like setting up structure to be a professional fighter at the next level when they get to be 18. So my job is really like explaining and furthering, reinforcing what their instructors are talking to them about strategy, about fighting smart, about eating smart, about how to properly warm up, how to properly cool down. How many days should I take off after a tournament? How many days should I be on? What should I be eating? What's my mindset? When should I rest? When should I sleep? My job is really like, I'm preparing you for when you're 18, we can just jump right into the deep side of the fighting pool and start swimming and start bringing back some overalls. So we're really working on that mindset there to where with Alex, he's in the deep side of the pool. He's in the pool with the sharks right now. He's with the big dogs. He's with the big boys. So training him has been really fun because people seen where he started. There was a lot of people that were doubting him, and there was a lot of naysayers. And I told him this one thing, 3 words: trust the process. I said, Alex, trust the process, not the haters, not the people who doubt you, not the people who envy you and don't have the balls to say they envy you, not the people who are jealous. Trust the process and outwork them all. And that's what he's been doing. The sky's the limit for him because people have to look and say, oh my God, when is the last time you've seen a legitimate high-level kata guy transition and become a legitimate high-level fighter? It's Kevin Thompson and it was Ross Levine for a very short time. That's it. Recently, you don't see that. And the wear and tear that these tricksters do on their body is amazing. How long do kata guys last? Typically, most kata competitors are done in their early 20s. If they were amazing at 18, a lot of time they're done at 21, 22. That's a tough sport. A lot of wear and tear on the joints, the ligaments, etc. This dude is doing extreme and then putting on pads and fighting and doing open weight, and then going back on stage and then coming back because he's being successful and fighting another round in open weight. So, it's a very unique juggle, but his journey has been one of the most rewarding so far for me as a coach, because I'm seeing where we started and I see where he's at, and he's nowhere near where we're going to get. I'll be sneaking out to Houston next week to do a seminar, and we'll have a good time. But I'm going to pull him to the side like I always do, and we're going to get work in the whole weekend. I'm coming down there for a seminar, but I'm also coming down there to have some one-on-one time with my guy, and let's get some stuff straight. I'll be heading out to Brownsville as well to do a seminar. And then I'm going to be pulling him to the side for a couple of days, and we're going to get that work. And the more I can deposit in him, the more I see tremendous growth. So, man, working with Alex, a little different than the juniors, but the juniors will tell you my expectation, my focus, and my passion is no different for them. I'm on them as well. But I'm really proud of the growth that he has done and the leaps and bounds that he's made. And I'm glad that he understands the three words that I told him. Trust the process. What is the process? The kid might be asking that's watching our show right now, Kyle. The process is proper training. Have faith. Believe in yourself. Don't let anybody take away your dreams, and outwork them all. But also understand that if you're losing, you can't just ignore it. You got to make corrections. And you have to be receptive to criticism. One more time, for the youngster out there that's like, hey, I want to be with Coach Gilbert one day. I want you. But you have to be receptive to constructive criticism. The best coaches are those that's going to hold you accountable for your mistakes and then correct them. Not the ones that just yell at you. Hold you accountable, and then let's fix it. And that's what we've been doing.
That's amazing. And Alex too, he's amazing on the form side of it. And I interviewed him a while ago, and I interviewed him for more the form side, but I've been working for Martial Arts Network, basically putting videos together for them and doing some behind the scenes stuff with a couple of their podcasts with their network. And I see all these videos of Alex, and the medals he's coming out with from the fighting side are amazing. So at his level, I don't know the age of it. He's roughly about 22 years old. He's in his early 20s. The level that he's doing at both is amazing, and hopefully he's able to keep it up because, again, I agree with you. When you start, a lot of the people that started when they were young kids and all the way up through, and I know a few personally, they start to wear down at about 23, 24. For him to do both at a very high level is amazing as well. And it's great also that he has his girlfriend, Haley Glass, who's amazing in the CMX side on T. Paul Mitchell, for the forms there to, they probably help each other a lot as well. But his level of competitiveness and also his humbleness is awesome as well.
Alex is a very likable guy. If I was fighting, I would want to be his teammate. He's the guy that you want in the foxhole. He's all heart. He's all passion. He reminds me a lot of myself. And he's very genuine. And he's a hard worker. That dude's always working his butt off, unless he's with Haley. But other than that, he's always working hard.
That's awesome. What are some of the tournaments that the fighting team on Team Paul Mitchell are going to be attending here coming up in 2023?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to go to the battle. The battle for me, going back, my first bout of Atlanta was 1990 as a brown belt. My first bout of Atlanta as a black belt was 1992. So for me, the battle was my first big nasty event, and it's always been this big to me, which would probably explain, why the few times I had an opportunity to go to Atlanta, I really tried to put my best foot forward, because it's always been like the mecca for fighting. And I told my guys, it still is. The battle is where it's at. The battle is one that you want on your resume to solidify you as one of the greats in this game, because the fighters always come to battle for decades. So we'll be at the battle. We'll definitely be at U.S. Open. We have various members going down to Eva Ramirez's tournament in Brownsville. We'll be down there having some fun as well. We'll be going down to the Capital Classics. Master Brown is like one of the most respected promoters for me in the business, and somebody that I look up to for all the things that he's done in the martial arts community, as a practitioner, but also as a businessman and as a pioneer for African-American martial artists. I'm just always been in awe of Master Dennis Brown. So we will definitely be supporting The Capital Classic was an amazing tournament. We'll be down there. We're going to go down to the Diamonds, and there's a couple other ones that we're going back and forth with. But don't be surprised if maybe you see us in Philly or some other tournaments. But the ones that I stated for sure, those are the ones that we're going to for sure. And sometimes promoters sort of contact us and see if we can make things happen to go to their tournaments as well. So we may get some calls in between here as well and try some other events. But those are the ones for sure. You'll see Team Paul Mitchell, martial arts, everybody, forms, fighting, weapons, and all the crazy old coaches to be there as well, just having some fun and hopefully helping our sport develop to where we can catch up. Kyle, our sport got to catch up. We got to catch up to BJJ. We got to catch up to, UFC. We got to catch up to traditional karate. Like, they're in the Olympics now. Like, on my IG account, I'm always seeing reels from traditional martial arts, traditional point fighting, where one person has on the all white gi and they have a red gear or blue gear. Like, and I think it's dope. I think it's amazing. And I'm like, man, why I don't see our stuff on the feed? So we got to bump our sport up because it's an amazing sport. And I hope that people get to see all the talent that's in sport martial arts, because we have some amazing superstars, as proven, over all these years. Raymond Daniels, Ross Levine is doing great in the combat realm, and just we have a lot of people that people don't even know that are amazing. And if we can just get that out to the public and package it, I think we'll see some really cool stuff and a big change in sport martial arts popularity.
I agree. I was in the WKF for 4 years. I think that's what you're referring to. I didn't go to the World or those type of tournaments, but the WKF is really big, and they were able to get to the Olympics. I think for the open circuit, the biggest start is demonstrations and things of that nature. If you can get big, Alex Mencias, Jackson Rudolph, Haley Glass, Sarah Campbell, some other players on Paul Mitchell and off Paul Mitchell, but these big time American athletes that people know, get them on stage and doing tricks and doing the exciting things, and then bring in traditional as well a little bit after. But getting people interested on these world level tournaments first, and then getting into the Olympics, I think it's something that would be entertaining for people to watch. And I do think that the CMX and definitely the point fighting have a place in the Olympics. There needs to be something to figure out how it can get to the Olympics from the political side, but the athletes are definitely talented enough and put in the work hard enough to be there.
Yeah, no, it's. I remember, man, a little history lesson. I remember in 1992-ish, 1993, they were trying to get sport karate potentially in the 1996 Olympics. So that was with the Professional Karate Commission. And, we've been trying for years. We just haven't figured out that Rubik's Cube yet, but hopefully we can do it and get it in there, because I think people would love to see our sport. There's probably some small rule adjustments that should happen to make people really see the beauty of what we're doing. But hopefully it can happen. I can't wait. Hopefully I see it in my time. If not, when I'm gone, I hope it picks up.
Awesome. I think the closest thing to that, as far as mainstream goes, the adrenaline showcase that happens every summer. I believe that happens in late July every year. I've never been, but I do believe that if more and more of these big tournaments for the open circuit go to Las Vegas, it'd be a great draw. I've been down to a tournament, the WKF USA Open. I've been down there a few times, and the night show was awesome. And the league, which I also have done interviews with, they have their finals in Las Vegas starting this coming September. So I think that if these different leagues can get on board and get their big finals tournaments in Vegas, it will draw people in. And then that's when you'll see things getting as big as UFC and these other leagues, because the way UFC got big is drawing people into Las Vegas. So drawing people into these big cities and marketing that way, I think that's where the big time sponsors, Adidas, Nike, Pepsi, etc., Apple will get on board. So, but it's getting there. And Team Paul Mitchell is definitely one of the top teams in the North America. It's definitely a step in the right direction for having them keep promoting themselves. You guys promote yourselves really well. So I think you guys on stage on some type of world global level would be awesome one day. So.
No, you're right. And there's so much talent, 360 in our sport. All teams, all athletes, all black belts. If we can package it right and just, even if, after a tournament, if, promoters not necessarily were held accountable, but if they're just excited about their event, and if they just took, man, a 20-second or 10-second clip of maybe 10 things, some from fighting, some from traditional, some from weapons, and just start to post it and throw it on YouTube and all these other things, just tremendous highlights. You'll just start to see people get excited, because I have all of my friends are always sending me martial art links on Instagram, things like that. And they're not even practitioners, but they saw it on Instagram and then they're like, yo, this is dope. This is amazing. Check this out. Like, we really can take advantage of some of the control that we have with social media. You didn't have that back in the 90s. And it's funny because people, like, for older guys like me, you know, all the fights people are pulling up. And that's why I was laughing, because I'm like, I don't blame you. You're like, yeah, you used to fight in the 2000s. Well, you know, there was no internet stuff like that. So no, I used to fight the entire 90s, but none of those fights are like online like that, because we weren't thinking about promotion, putting them up on, you know, they're all on VHS, you know? So if we take advantage of this era, there's some great opportunity for promoting our sport in the right way.
Absolutely, absolutely. I also think the demos, the demonstration side of it. For example, Team AKA, I've never been to the AKA Warrior Cup, but I have some of my coaches on Team AKA, and the demonstration they put on for theirs is really awesome. And
Oh,
Team
yeah.
Paul Mitchell members in the past have put on really great demonstrations. So I think highlighting those and putting those on Instagram, and really pushing those to say, hey, these guys are really good, and then people will go to the links and go to people's pages. And I do believe that, especially, I'm Canadian, but I do a lot of things on social media for martial arts and cover it pretty heavily. I do think that what people are doing to market themselves with the short videos is helping the sport and helping to grow personal brands and personal people and teams, but also helping to grow it as a whole, which is definitely a step in the right direction. And that's why, in my opinion, in the open circuit side of it, that's why NASCAR has become as big as it is, because you're able to market some of the best athletes in America to come to these big events as well.
Yeah, no, and we can do better. We can do better. But they are doing great marketing, but we can even do better. We really got to pump it up, because we have a great product, male and female. And we're coming out of COVID, so sport martial arts is almost getting back to its regular its regular mode, its regular pace. Like, it was very, you know, tough coming out of COVID. We're just about there. It feels like, where people are just coming back out by the tons to compete and to spectate. And that'll take us to the next level. The biggest concern for us in sport martial arts is our fan base can't be the participants. We have to have like a true fan base. And by putting stuff out, we can start to create that. But it just can't be our only fans or competitors. The guy to the left and the guy to the right that you're going to fight against. Yeah, that's also the fan, and that's all we got. Like, no, we really want to bump that up. And yeah, my fingers are crossed. I'm a lifer. I'll never not train. I'll never not love the sport. I'll never not be excited about the sport. So I'm stuck. So I just want to see it blow up and do some really cool things. I believe it can.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Quebec Open, because with the Quebec Open, what they did is it was on a university campus, I believe, and what they did is they invited people from outside as well. So if you get more people going to these events and going to these tournaments, inviting people from outside, that'd be awesome. I have one really quick story. So I was in an elevator going to my room because I was at the Toronto Tournament of Champions. It's run by Team NMAC. I was going up to my room, and the lady looked at me and goes, "Are you here for some kind of a karate thing?" I'm here for a tournament. She's like, "Oh, cool, good luck." She looked at me. She had no idea what it was, but I think the idea that marketing from the hotel side of it and that sort of thing too, to say, hey, come and watch something really exciting and cool, is what's going to help market the sport as well.
No, big time. And you know what? Shout out to the Quebec Open. I haven't been there since prior to COVID, but I've been to Quebec a couple of times and actually got lucky enough to win the overall there twice. Quebec Open, for me, by far, from a production side, the times that I went was like the best nighttime finals show ever. That was one of the first times in my career I felt like a little bit of a rock star on the stage, because the people there were just amazing. The place was sold out. The energy was great. The production, the lights, the music, the stage. I mean, man, Quebec Open, they've been light years ahead of a bunch of other nighttime finals for years. And if you're watching that on TV or you're watching that, like even on Instagram or YouTube, it makes you believe it's a big deal because the production looks like it's a big deal. So yeah, if they keep that up and other people follow that suit, man, Quebec Open has always been one of those events that I was like, oh my God, I feel really cool. This is amazing. I feel like a real athlete. This is awesome. Let's go. And yeah, the juices would get flowing because they did such a great job in their nighttime finals.
Yeah, it's amazing. I also love how they promote the para. I've never been there, but I've heard from the promoters and from other people that when all during all the events during the nighttime finals, they actually put all the para up on stage. So it's great. They really put a lot of effort into promoting the women, the men, and the para. So I think that all those three things together in all different divisions will help the sport grow. I'm a traditional kata athlete, which is hard style, but I'm getting into the CMX side, CMX weapons and things. But I also love enjoying seeing soft style and seeing how the differences between soft style and hard style, and just really enjoying the differences that sport martial arts has to offer.
Absolutely. And if we can put all that out to the masses, let them see, the martial arts tournaments is like a fruit basket. If we can show them everything, the watermelon, the tangerines, the oranges, the bananas, the apricots, it's all good because there's something there for everybody. And that's the beautiful thing about our sport. So like you said, when we can put that out there, man, some really cool stuff is going to happen.
Thank you so much for on the show today.
Kyle, anything for you, my friend. You're one of the toughest dudes I know. You're a real fighter. You're a fighter in life, my friend. So it's been an honor for me. Thank you for having me. And anytime you need anything from me, I'm just a phone call away. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It means a lot. This has been KC Sports Talk, the podcast with Kyle Chambers.